Coming to you live from deep within an icy, radioactive wasteland, we are the survivors of the social justice zombie apocalypse. The few, the brave, the bitchy, once more wading into battle against the zombie hordes with Rantzerker. Number 31, How to Be a Man, by Emma Watson. And that's my cat. She says hello, too.
How do you be a cat?
That sounded kind of like one of those balloons going me.
Well, you know, she's got to chime in, because she also knows how to be a man.
Yeah,
Because
well,
she's a cat. Cat privilege.
It was just the perfect sound to kind of go, fizzle. Yeah, I'm so excited about, Emma Watson and her ideas about what it takes to be a man.
Well, she's certainly got the requisite life experience to know.
Oh, yes. No, well, she doesn't have the life experience, but she really does have the cuteness factor, which motivates lots of people to, want to be nice to her and just do nice things for her. I'm sorry, I'm making a little bit of noise here. I'm squeezing the last of my wine out of my giant wine bladder. Okay.
They say you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, and you can catch more humans with kittens than with bears. It's all true.
Okay, wine bladder. So maybe what you need is one of those like bicycle water bladders, and then you just fill it with wine.
Ooh. Okay.
Are you liking that thought, or are you just
No, I don't need a bicycle bladder. Why would I be on a bicycle?
No, but what I'm saying is that you carry it in a backpack. So you'd have your wine in a backpack on your back, and then you have just a tube going from the bladder in the backpack.
Where do I ever walk, Alison?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Honestly, why are we preparing for things that'll never happen? If there is a God, he gave me feet to work the gas and the brake. Okay, so
well, what can I say? I guess I'm foolish.
There you go. I've got the thingy queued up here. Is it playing for you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, it was weird. It came up with Karen Strawn is presenting, and there was my bedroom. Karen's presenting my bedroom. That's what we do now.
Yes.
I'm in there. I'm in there with you, Doc.
Presenting.
I just want to. Oh my God. Shrink it just enough that I can hit the buttons properly. And get the fuck off of here, you stupid Google Hangouts bar thingy that you guys probably can't see, so you think I'm like chasing a poltergeist. All right. Here we go. Let's start.
Cast your mind back to September, and you'll remember Emma Watson's call to arms for men.
See, and my dog's already puking.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, no, she's literally gagging right now.
Well, insofar as your dog is sort of an insufferable pest, she does have good taste.
Oh, and just good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, it's just... She knows what's coming. The gag reflex has already started.
There you go. All right, Get lost, dog. Go away.
Puke elsewhere.
To weigh in on the gender equality debate, when she launched the hashtag #HeForShe movement. The fight continued in 2015. GQ attended a Q&A with Emma at Facebook's London headquarters to discuss posturing, chivalry, guy crying.
Okay.
That was actually the way it was termed. It was guy-crying. Like that's what we're calling it now. Guy crying.
Do they realize that they've used the word guy or man so often as an insult that just sounds like they're insulting men who are crying?
No, they're not even saying it as an insult. It's just men should cry. That's just how they're sort of subtitling.
Yeah,
the men should cry angle of he for she.
They poisoned it. When it comes out of their mouths now, it just comes off as an insult. It's just that's your instant assumption. If they make a porkmanteau out of anything, or if they attach two words together, and one of them is like, dude or bro or guy or man, it's going to be 99% of the time a belittling term, essentially an emasculating term, oddly enough, because they're making fun of the fact that, a lot of the time they're making fun of the fact that a guy behaves in certain ways.
We've been using phrases like throw like a girl and run like a girl, but we only ever left it at the simile, do you see? Like, it was a full sentence. We didn't turn it into, you're girl throwing. There's something a bit more sinister about that, isn't there?
Kind of, yeah. I don't know. I just, I don't think that this young lady has anything. I didn't really read the articles that this reading is from. So I don't know what kind of wonderful insights she has for us, but I don't think that they're going to be anything even remotely touching on serious issues that men might, come across in their lives and be on the receiving end of sort of life-changing discrimination. Like the criminal justice gap or the family court gap or, the domestic violence gap, services gap, the health funding gap, the health spending gap, the fact that right now in Canada they've defunded PSA testing, which is a very, very simple, cheap blood test to detect prostate cancer, which is slightly more effective, slightly more accurate than mammograms, right? And mammograms are completely fully funded. Very, very expensive, completely fully funded, and they essentially justified canceling the PSA coverage because it just costs too much.
Can I point something out?
Yes.
There is going to be very specific. Like they will acknowledge men's issues as long as they don't acknowledge that women are in any way responsible for any harms or vulnerabilities that men might have.
Well, or that they could help, or that they may have things better in that instance.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, are we moving
You're both
on?
roughly correct. Spoiler alert for what I just said, but yeah, that's pretty much what's about to happen.
Okay, it's gonna be like cheesy, stupid things like I don't
We'll
know,
see, shall we?
holding doors open for the ladies or what? Go away, dog! I will kill you. Why do you need to go out? You were out just an hour ago.
Jesus Christ! Just start the video before it descends into any more madness.
Everything in between. Here's everything men should know about how to be a feminist.
Really?
Right. Number one. It's okay to let your girl pick up the pill.
Pick up the pill?
Pick up the bill.
I heard
at the restaurant. Sorry, it just sounds a bit shitty.
I know. Well, it's just because it's a colloquialism that we don't use here. It's actually pick up the check.
or the bill. Well, I mean, we can use check up the bill, but it sounded more like screw the pew actually to me, which is that was an interesting image. How does one screw a pew?
Screw a pew. I don't know, but you know what?
Creatively.
Here, you guys talk amongst yourselves about screwing pews for like 20 seconds while I let this fucking dog out.
Jesus Christ! All right, or
I wonder if they
screwing.
do pews in IKEA that you screw together yourself.
Oh my God! You totally went like the non-euphemism, non-innuendo route.
Yeah, I saw what you're doing. I saw exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Brought it back down to something resembling Earth.
Okay, yeah, but it's like even.
I wonder if you can build an entire church from IKEA products.
I wonder how long it would last in the rain. Probably about 20 minutes. Honestly.
fucking time, man, that dog. Oh my god. And now she's just out there barking.
Oh, what is she barking at, incidentally?
Everything.
Everything. So she's sort of like...
There may be a car driving by like 8 blocks away. She can just barely hear it, and it offends her.
So essentially she's sort of like Emma Barkson.
She just wants to bark.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did there. I just didn't find it. I'm in a very cranky mood. I'm sorry. I may get the joke, but I probably won't laugh.
Well, Emma Barkson, there's not much joke to get there.
No, not really.
It's just ridiculous.
She did.
No,
She replaced the first syllable of Emma Watson's name with a word commonly associated with dogs. You see, because bark is a word.
Woofson?
Whoopson.
Woofson.
Woofson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been much better. Emma Woofson.
There you go.
There
All right.
you go.
We're
This
moving.
is riveting, guys.
I
Simply
know.
riveting.
It's so... Well, I mean, this whole thing is going to be, like, completely retarded and stupid and not even worth commenting on. So we have to fill the time somehow. Okay, moving on to the next bit.
Before you break out into a cold sweat when throwing down your credit card over the digestive menu, Emma assures that the fourth wave of feminism isn't about killing off chivalry.
Oh, of course it isn't, because they rely on chivalry. They depend on chivalry. It's necessary to their paradigm. If chivalry did not exist, everybody would tell them to go eat a bag of dicks.
Well, yeah, they would say he for she. Well, what about she for he? I mean, in fact, if we even saw women as capable and, potent and having a role in creating society, we would immediately say he for she. Well, what about she for he? Like, don't women have any responsibility to the situation for men? There you go.
How about she for everybody else for a change?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been on men for so long, the sort of the expectation that they're responsible for everything and therefore to blame for everything. So, like, why don't we just shove the whole lot on women for like a year? Women, have a year. Take a year of being responsible, being treated like men.
You're up to 3.5 waves now. You still can't quite be, you can't quite be asked paying for your own children, but you can just about pay for your own meals. Awesome. Progress.
Okay.
Progress.
Oh, yeah, but here's the thing. All right, we have to recognize men's vulnerabilities in order to recognize women's agency. Period. There's no other group of people upon which women can apply their actions and get a response. So, other than children, but children are both boys and girls, so it doesn't really work like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, the only way to challenge that notion of women as damsels, oh, fuck it. She's advancing he for she. She obviously doesn't want to challenge anything traditional.
Of course not.
Like I said, we're talking about a neoconservative, a crypto-conservative.
Look at her fucking speech at the UN, right? Oh, the #1 killer of men in the UK is suicide. So, let's get all those suicidal guys to do shit for women. Because, that's what we do with suicidal people. We say, hey, why don't you fucking get to work making women's lives better? Just ignore your problems and just, don't be depressed. Just suck it up. Do shit for women.
It's like the chiropractor joke. Oh, you got a cold? I'm gonna crack your bones. Is an Eddie-Izzard routine. Oh, you got a dodgy limb? I'm gonna crack your bones. Oh, you got something in your eye? I'm gonna crack your bones. And this is what feminists do. What, you suicidal? Give shit to women. Oh, you got cancer? Give shit to women. What, you're hanging off the end of a cliff with vultures eating your ass from the inside? Be nicer to women. I don't know.
There you go. And once everything is perfect for women, all your problems will magically disappear because the patriarchy will be once and for all defeated.
Yeah.
And that will make everything perfect for men too, because that's the way it works in our little fucking loony bin of a brain. That's how that works. Because I mean, there's never been a situation. She's like, oh well, if women are free from gender stereotypes, men will be free too. Because there was never a situation where, I don't know, one class of people was free under a system and another class of people was not free.
Let's get to the next part.
No.
Banana. No, it's true. It's true.
He says, just because women want equality does not mean that acts of chivalry towards women must end.
Of course they shouldn't, because then men wouldn't be spending money on women.
Yes, treat us equally, but also treat us special.
I know. It's just, and she's acting like she's doing a favor to men by telling them that they're allowed to privilege women.
I mean, how can you even call it chivalry and think you're being progressive? You're aware of how old the word and the concept of chivalry are, and you think you still think this is some new idea.
Well, even before chivalry, there was gallantry, right? I mean, like, chivalry was sort of a code that was applied to a certain class of people that, sort of became the catch-all term for, gallant knightly behavior toward those who are perceived as weaker, or in a position of inferior power, right? But it didn't just grow out of nothing, right? That code of behavior. It existed in the culture prior. I mean, there was maybe less freaking formalized, but it was there. Men still fought for their women. Men still protected their women and their children. Men still freaking provided for their women and their children. Men still took the heavier work that needed to be done. I mean, like, men have always done this to spare their women and children from having to do it. So, like, ugh, it's old. It's really old. Like, thousands of years old.
Yes. And also, it's time.
And only becomes a problem when people expect things to be a certain way and follow the status quo.
What?
Status quo being chivalry.
Chivalry only becomes a problem when people expect things a certain way. So it becomes a problem when women I'm sorry. Can we go back a bit? I'm having a lot of trouble parsing this.
Yeah, so did the puppet.
Chivalry is consensual, and only becomes a problem when people expect things to be a certain way and follow the status quo.
Okay, all right, bitch, please. Chivalry is an asymmetrical expectation of politeness and deference from men to women. In that scenario, it is a social custom that puts men in service to women, in service to women's needs, in service to women's expectations. So you are simultaneously saying that chivalry is okay, this deference of men towards women is okay, as long as it's not expected. Well, what exactly are you saying is expected? So men can't expect to actually be treated properly when they do engage in chivalrous behavior? So I think that's what you're possibly going for, because I don't think the situation is that you are saying women shouldn't expect men to engage chivalrously. I mean, am I wrong in this? Because I still am having trouble parsing this sentence.
Status quo means patriarchy. That's synonymous as far as feminists are concerned, I think.
What means patriarchy?
Status quo, because the status quo will always be with men because of patriarchy, see?
Yeah, but chivalry is, like, it's a social custom, therefore it would have to be the status quo. I don't understand what she's getting at. Is she saying that essentially men should be chivalrous towards women, but if women behave or respond by slapping them in the face, that's their prerogative? And how do you make chivalry consensual? So does what men have to ask before he engages in chivalry?
I think she might have actually been saying consensual on the man's part.
Really?
Like, shouldn't be expected. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt.
So it's not mandatory to be nice to women on the internet, so you don't get thrown in prison if you're not nice enough to women on the internet or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's just because it's what she says, and maybe even what she means when she says it, doesn't mean it's not going to go out the window the moment her feelings are hurt.
Okay, well, I really...
Are really fucking cold because I had to go out in my bare feet and unhook my fucking dog.
Your dog wants to be both inside the house and outside the house at the same time. She wants the warmth of being inside the house and the ability to bark at cars that happens when she's outside of the house.
Pretty much. But she gets stuck every fucking time, and
under the porch.
Yes,
Yeah.
under the porch. So I had to go
I feel like
snow in my bare feet in -13 weather.
I feel like we're talking about something other than just your dog.
It's just
I think that your dog is a metaphor for something else that we
wants to do what she wants to do, but she needs me to go out there and fucking rescue her, right?
Yeah.
Gets her shit in trouble. She gets herself stuck. She hits a bump, right? Does something fucking retarded. Absolutely fucking retarded. She's done it 150 times. Why would you go over there, dog? Every time you go into that little area, you get stuck. Ugh.
All right. Well, I honestly I don't know what she was trying to say with that sentence. I could, you know what? Let's go to the next one, and I'll just try to find the original article or what.
I think I've got a link to it. Here. Oh no, yeah, I do. I can send it through the the chat. Paste. Okay. All right, moving on.
Emma told the audience a dating anecdote to explain. I once took a man out for dinner. I chose the place and paid, and it was really awkward. It didn't go down well. But the cool thing was, we were both willing to have the conversation about why it was uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
Number 2.
That's it?
That is it. That is. I mean, I can't. I couldn't even, and I still can't even.
That's it. Is it was uncomfortable, but they could talk about great. It was uncomfortable, and they were able to talk about it. But
Is that the story of most of your dates, Emma, by any chance? They were uncomfortable, but at least you managed to talk about how uncomfortable it was. Mostly to the press, but...
Well, at least you didn't name the guy. At least you didn't say, I was out with so-and-so. I was out with Ryan Gosling, and then I went to pay, and everything just got awkward. So... But yeah, no, I just that. All right,
that wasn't what made it awkward.
This may not be her. End of story. It may just be all that GQ decided to write, and I'm giving her that benefit of the doubt that maybe she had more to say about it, and they didn't include it because of all of the fucking times that a 45-minute interview that I have done with mainstream media has been boiled down to half a sentence. So. We will move on. Where the hell did Alison go?
Oh shit, she's out of the call. Oh, that's not good.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there she is.
All right.
So, sorry about that. Did you guys get further?
Yeah, no, we didn't get any further. We were waiting for you.
Well, what the hell did you do in the meantime?
We were talking. Well, we got a little bit further. She talked
We were
about
tearing our hair out going, where's Alison? No.
She talked about going out on a date, then she went to pay the check, and things got really uncomfortable, but at least they were able to talk about why. And then that's the end of the item.
Okay, wait. So she's a multimillionaire.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and she went out on a date.
Yeah.
And so what happened was he offered to pay the check, did he?
No, she had picked the place. She had asked him out. She had picked the place. So she automatically just kind of went to pay.
All right, and he was bothered by that?
I think he just didn't know quite what to do with it. Maybe he makes significantly less money than her, in which case it would actually probably really kind of make things weird.
I wonder what it's like to be, like, bar none, one of the most powerful people on the planet. Like Emma Watson, it's hilarious. She's like, she talks like she's this tiny, pitiful creature, and yet she is, bar none, the most powerful creature on the planet.
Well, I mean, like like if you look at Hollywood, if you look at how things work, I mean, like a lot of celebrities don't even carry money because they know they're getting free shit everywhere they go.
I mean, how does she wrap her, like, is she even aware of the fact that she is one of the most powerful creatures on this planet?
Of course not.
Like, does she realize that she could probably murder a man and get away with it? So that guy who was a little bit antsy about her paying him for his bill, I mean, she'd, take him out back and shoot him in the head. I doubt she'll spend a day in jail, even with witnesses.
I noticed even despite her wealth and her fame, that the anecdote isn't sometimes I pay for the date. It isn't I usually pay for the date. It's once
Yeah.
I went on a date and paid, and it felt awkward. It wasn't me feeling awkward. It can't have been. There was just this awkward feeling. So I struck up a conversation about how awkward I'm feeling about paying. Lovely story, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, there's not enough detail to go on.
I mean, it sort of must suck for her because she probably has a choice of about, I don't know, 20 men in the world, and all of them are over 80. In terms of appeasing her hypergamy or her justification why she's with this guy. It's like, why would I be with this man unless he makes more than me? And I'm a multimillionaire, so who can I date?
The pool does get winnowed and winnowed and winnowed the higher up women climb, certainly.
Yeah. Well, unless she genuinely challenged that desire to be protected and provided for.
Is this what you're doing, Emma? Is this your attempt to find a sultan?
Well, but the problem is, the problem with that is it's not necessarily the desire to be protected and provided for. It is the absolute abject terror that a lot of women have of, if not terror, then discomfort of having to be the provider and protector.
Boo-hoo.
They don't mind, like, if women needed to be provided for and protected, they would get married. They wouldn't hold off getting married. They wouldn't have their own careers and their own money and their own apartment and their independence and all of that, right? It's just they don't want to have to pay for someone else, like, just long term, like maybe on a date, sure, but like typically they don't want to financially support a male partner.
It just seems to me that a woman in Emma's esteemably powerful position, like profoundly powerful position, like basically Emma is a god walking upon not just mortals, but like pygmies. She's like a 10-foot fucking giant walking among the rest of us, including the men. They're all pygmies at her ankles. And it occurs to me that a concept or a theory or a established body of thought that would really help her out more is less how to imagine myself a victim in this scenario when I am a 10-foot leviathan tromping around the pygmies, and actually a body of thought related to how she has power, how she can learn to live with that power responsibly and responsibly deal with other people while having that power, and also how she can deal emotionally and psychologically with having a mate who's most likely going to earn a shit ton less than herself.
Yeah.
How she can learn to desire a pygmy, because pretty much that's all she's going to get. Well, I mean, she probably will find a sultan eventually. And then, she'll complain about the patriarchy, except that even a woman like herself still requires a man even more powerful. So how the fuck, you have generation upon generation of women saying, I'm not going to marry no man who's less powerful than me. And then you wonder where patriarchy comes from. Well, Emma, you'll understand where patriarchy comes from when you look at the bank account balance of your next husband. Because I guarantee it's probably going to be double yours. That's where patriarchy comes from. Leviathan. All right.
All right. Number 2.
You shouldn't be ashamed to be a feminist.
Yes, you should. You should be very ashamed.
You certainly.
And you should feel bad.
You just shouldn't be proud of it, is all I'm saying.
Okay, you certainly shouldn't be. You certainly. Okay. Let's not be proud of it. What is? I would say if you're the most powerful person and you're adopting an ideology in which you view yourself as powerful or powerless, sorry, I think that could possibly be a moment where shame might be appropriate. At least when you step out of yourself and observe what you're doing. And not based on the ideology you've chosen, but the fact that you are incredibly powerful.
Yeah, but she's...
And you've decided to embrace powerlessness.
This isn't her 7 rules for being a female feminist. This is her advice to men. Don't be ashamed to be a feminist.
Oh. Oops.
So...
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Well, carry on then.
Well, it's kind of like what I said, hashtag je suis cuck. I guess you can completely subordinate all of your own interests and all of your own well-being and devote it to the benefit of women, because men have never done that before, ever, in the entire history of the planet.
Perish the thought. This is totally new.
It's novel. Probably won't work, but we can try. And that you shouldn't be ashamed of sort of devoting a huge part of your life and your psyche and your self-identity toward being in the service of women's interests. Not even your wife's interests or your daughter's interests, but all women in general. The big W. Devote yourself to that, because just looking after your family, that's really it's not quite doing it for us anymore. So, yeah.
Banana.
Emma put it to us straight. If you stand for equality, you're a feminist.
Oh, fuck you.
Banana. We know this.
I'm sorry to tell you, but you are.
No, I'm not.
Oh, fuck you. You're not telling me what I am.
That's literally it. That's all the reasoning they used. That's the end of point number 2.
You're not telling me what I fucking am? I'm not going to defend the other people who are part of the box known as feminism, or the bullshit that almost all feminists spout. Okay, you say that they are not not all feminists are like that, but I'm afraid that patriarchy theory wouldn't exist without feminism. Rape culture wouldn't exist without feminism. He for she wouldn't exist without feminism. Don't judge, feminism by particular feminists. Judge it by what wouldn't exist without feminism having existed. Think about that.
Well, the Tender Years Doctrine wouldn't have existed. That whole 100 years between when women had property rights in marriage and when they became equally responsible for marital debts. That none of that would have existed without feminism. The whole mom gets the kids, but dad still gets the bill. That wouldn't have existed without feminism. And the rushing the pill to market and having lots of women just kind of drop from strokes and get breast cancer and shit, because they hadn't tested it quite thoroughly enough, because feminists were demanding it be rushed to market. Without feminism, we wouldn't have had that. Now we got the whole problem with the pill changing women's taste in men, not in the type of men they like, but the specific genetic markers that make men smell good or bad to them. And now, oh my goodness, men who resemble genetically their brothers and fathers smell really good to them when they're on the pill. I wonder if this might be connected with the hugely rising rates over the last 40 years of things like asthma and autism and ADHD and frickin' autoimmune disorders and all kinds of crap like that. Considering that the actual genes that cause this smell response are genes connected to the immune system, to immune function. So, I mean, like, we wouldn't have had that without feminists. And, you know, like, there's just so many things that we wouldn't have without feminists.
Yeah. I'm not completely sold on blaming them for autism, but I see your point.
Well, I mean, hey, it's essentially it's just, you know, like they make changes or they demand changes without ever thinking, could there possibly be unforeseen consequences?
Yeah, like I want to go out. Karen, 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 Karen. I want out. I want out. I
Yeah,
want out. Oh, it's cold. I'm gonna get myself stuck underneath
fucking
the,
porch.
the porch because it's cold. I want to be warm again. All right. So they make changes and they don't take any responsibility for the negative sides of them. Banana.
Banana.
Number 3! Got girls in your business? Make sure they're getting paid equally.
Well, no duh, because you know what? If you don't, that's against the law.
The pay gap in the UK will not close for at least 70 years at the current rate of change, and Emma says it's time to take action.
Yeah, because you know why it'll take so long is because it's not caused by wage discrimination.
Jesus, but let's keep trying that. Let's keep pumping. Let's keep beating that dead horse. It's not caused by wage discrimination. It's caused by women's choices. If we actually directly addressed women's choices in terms of wage gap, we might actually make some changes. If we didn't give some of the most powerful people on the world, like Emma, the right or the ability to play the victim, they might reduce the wage gap.
You know what's amazing is I was watching just today a Noel Plum video, and he used a clip from an older video of his where he sort of went and did a little bit of a demonstration about the pay gap in the UK, in Scotland, and also in the wider UK because the numbers are pretty similar. And this isn't just the average earnings for the year. This is actually hourly wages that they're looking at, and there's a 17% gap in the hourly earnings of men and women. There is about an 8% gap with men earning 8% more than women working full time. So where's the rest of that 17%? It must be that women are making significantly less who work part-time, except for no, women make 11% more than men when they work part-time per hour, right? And the whole reason why there's this difference in hourly pay between men and women is women are like 58% of part-time workers and men are 13% of part-time workers, right? So
Wait, just a second. So
part-time work pays less per hour.
Okay, so generally there is actually a premium for female workers. In other words, female workers pay more, and in fact, if they worked as many hours as men, they would have significantly more salaries. That sounds what it sounds.
Well, no, we're talking hourly pay, hourly wages, hourly rates, right? And even that, it's not looking at, you know, the field that you're in, whether you're folding scarves at the fucking Gap or whether you're working, you know, on an oil rig. Doesn't look at any of that. It just looks at hourly pay, right? But full-time work pays more per hour than part-time work, and women are like 5 times as likely or something, or 4 times as likely to be working part-time. So we have all of these fucking women working part-time, right? Causing a pay gap, an hourly wage gap.
Well, of course. And who's funding them working part-time? Their husbands or their child support checks or their alimony.
Or their subsidized daycare, or, you know, yeah.
Banana.
She says if you know that a woman is doing the same work as you and you know she is being paid less than you, it would be so cool if you said something about it. Ask the question.
Well, no. What if she was hired 2 years after he was hired? What if he's been working for that company for 2 years and he's had 8 quarterly employee evaluations, at which point he got, you know, maybe 6 bumps in pay, right? And she just started, she's doing the exact same work, but she's making less. What about that?
I don't think they have an answer for that, Karen.
Do you think that, like, being a reliable employee for the company for years is not worth a premium over somebody who just joined the company or someone who's only been there for a year? Maybe there's somebody who, the company knows that they're finishing school and then they're going to move on to something else. They're studying architecture and they're not going to be working in a restaurant anymore, right? So why would they give them pay raises to keep them with the company if they know they're going to leave the company? Like, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with gender. Companies will get away with paying you as little as they can. Which, actually, this whole pay gap nonsense, absolutely 100%. If women are working less money for the same work, right, then it's because they're willing to do so.
Banana.
Number 4!
Are you getting drunk in this?
Feminism shouldn't be...
No, I sound like that normally,
Number 4!
I think that's voice acting.
I'm getting slowly more frustrated, both in the scene and without it. If you see what I mean.
Okay.
Just 12 hours after speaking at the UN about her #HeForShe campaign, a website was set up by anti-feminists counting down to a threatened picture dump of naked pictures of Emma Watson. While 4chan users rubbed their hands over another celebrity takedown in the nude subsection, Emma was determined not to let the threat deter her. She said, "I was just raging. It made me so angry. This is why I have to be doing this. If anything, if they were trying to put me off, it was the opposite."
Well, good for her. I wonder what she has to say about Hulk Hogan and, like, Anthony Weiner and, what about Jaromir Jagr, was it? Who had some, I don't know, 19-year-old model that he banged, take a picture of them together in bed while he was sleeping and then demanded he pay her, like, thousands of dollars or she was going to release the pictures. And he's like, "I'm 45 years old and I'm single. Like, and I just banged a model and there's evidence. Go ahead."
Yeah.
Upload them. I'll share them around. Can I have a copy?
Oh, I have a strange thought when I was listening to that. Does Emma Watson have a libido? Like, does she have any desire for anything?
I don't know, but like...
I know it's a really weird question, but I mean, maybe if she did, she would sympathize with other people. I don't know.
I just know Justin Bieber's dick pics were, like, floating all over the place, and feminist websites were actually writing articles about why drooling over Justin Bieber's dick is somehow structurally and institutionally different from the fappening.
It's different when women do it because women don't have the same agency as men. But, teach women that they don't have the same agency as men is not harmful at all to women actually exercising agency.
Well, but feminism relies on that idea of women being essentially having no effective power. Like, they may have power, but, I mean, and they may acknowledge that women have power through, get certain forms of power through being sex objects, but essentially it's a power at one remove, and they won't admit how dangerous that is. They'll only admit that it's not real. They'll only say that it's not real power, right? But if feminists ever acknowledged that they had power, that women had power, that would be the end of everything for them. They would no longer have a reason to exist.
Nope.
All right, moving on. Unless Mike wants to add anything.
No, yeah, you're doing well enough. I'm the dude on screen.
Okay.
Number 5! It's okay for men to cry. Emma doesn't think crying is a sign of weakness. I'm really genuinely disturbed by this idea that men can't cry and that they can't express themselves and talk about how they actually feel. I think that's the saddest thing in the world. It's what makes you human.
Maybe you could talk to your sisters in arms who have made the Male Tears coffee mugs the Christmas gift of the year this year. Is just, they've been just flying off the shelves, and I'm joking about how popular they are. They're only popular with feminists, but
the feminist Christmas gift of the year.
There you go. And like the I Bathe in Male Tears shirts, and the I'm sorry I hurt your man feels slogans. And
could you back it up a bit, Karen? Just a few seconds.
Oh, that looks like your O face.
It's a puppet. Hang on. It's like my hand's O face.
The saddest thing in the world. It's what makes you human.
No, okay, alright. You psychotic fuck. That's not what makes you human. Being able to cry.
Yeah, I'm glad you've come down from, like, it used to be, like, men aren't human without your permission, and now it's if you don't cry, you're not a human being. Fuck you, Emma. Fuck you still.
Oh, it's just like, men don't have to express their feelings in Emma-approved ways in order to be human beings. Maybe this is just a turn of phrase, and I shouldn't be slamming her on it, but it's really fucking disturbing that you think that there's no human in there if there isn't crying. Yes, there is. Usually there's a bigger human than you could possibly ever fucking imagine, little girl.
Well, what about people who are incapable of crying, or who are incapable of emotional crying, or crying out of compassion, effective compassion, right? Who just don't have those, maybe they're wired a little bit differently, and they just don't have the impulse to cry when they're exposed to human suffering. Are they not human? What about somebody in a coma? They can't cry. They're not human. They're not human too, right?
Mm.
It really.
Well, here's a she for he challenge for Emma Watson. You say that it's okay for men to cry. You say that men should cry when they're upset. Well, why don't you become the kind of woman that a man feels safe crying around? That means you clean up your bullshit childish act. You don't quaver when you speak. You speak with authority and determination. You be the kind of strength that someone can feel like they can be vulnerable around.
Yeah, that they can lean on.
You do that. And then you whine that men can't cry. Because if men don't have anyone to listen to them when they are sad, without judgment, without the expectation that they maintain an eternal facade of strength, they have no one to listen to when they cry, no one to listen to them when they cry, they're not going to do it. Because crying alone leads to fucking suicide. You need someone you can cry with and be heard by them before you can cry. So if you want men to cry, Emma, you become the kind of woman they can be vulnerable around. And you are not. You are a little quivering nymphette, which is amazing because you're simultaneously a little quivering nymphette and a fucking ogre.
Well, with millions and millions of dollars.
Yes, it's like watching Shrek. I mean, could you imagine Shrek acting like Emma Watson? Just getting up on a stage, his quavering little voice and tears in his eyes and saying, "You gotta protect us, ogres. We're so vulnerable." I mean, can you imagine that? And yet we let this person get away with that. She can walk into a room of people with significantly less power than her and talk about how they have to be responsible for her vulnerabilities and her powerlessness. And nobody calls her to task and stands up and says, "Lady, you are the most powerful person in the room."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to listen to some gigantic dragon talk about, "Oh, you peasants, you just don't understand how it feels to be me. You gotta be careful about my vulnerabilities. You gotta make sure that you make the world work for me," which is incidentally why you need to sacrifice all your virgins. I mean, everybody would be like, "Yeah, no, fuck you." But because she doesn't look like what she is, She is the most powerful woman. If she looked like an ugly old white guy, everybody would be like, what fuck? But she's like several times more powerful than an ugly old white guy. Because she got the money, and she looks like a fucking kitten.
Yeah, no, it's the affectation of innocence that gives her that power. You know, combined with the fact that she's sexually attractive and, you know, and sexually mature enough that nobody's going to feel like a pedophile looking at her. But still nice and young and fresh. She seems sweet, just in the way she talks. You know?
But it's pretty fucking obvious that she was a mean girl. If anyone in school was a mean girl, it's the chick who was in the movies. Don't fool yourself. She's the meanest of the mean girls.
Either she was like kind of a bitch through elementary and junior high at least, or that was some like tour de force acting as Hermione. And she's a hero to girls everywhere, is Hermione Granger.
Oh God!
Even though she's snooty and snobby and
cunt, and a know-it-all, and I love that scene.
And punches people in the face. And all of that. Anyhow, actually the punching thing is least offensive out of everything. But moving on.
Time to pick up the Kleenex and let it all out.
Are you crying there, Doctor?
No, just laughing.
I know.
I'm reading a lot of this for the first time.
A lot of...
whenever Kleenex comes out, there's a double entendre in there, you know.
Oh
Let
my.
forth your male tears.
Emma Watson is the receptacle for them.
In their milky, ropey goodness.
All of them.
I'll see if I can actually wank and cry at the same time, man, just for you.
No, you don't wank and cry at the same time because male tears is a euphemism for...
Yes,
yeah, you're getting both. You're getting it all. You're getting every fluid I can muster.
Oh, that would just be... I'm not sure if I want to be party for that. But I would advise you get a room in which has a drain in the center and then also a hose.
And of course, always be recording.
You know, the problem with semen is that it doesn't just dry up like tears. It just kind of... It's like super glue. Even before it dries, it just like sticks to everything. It's really...
Don't do it in the shower, by the way. It's not entirely water-soluble.
You know what's fun about going to an art school? Like when you have globs of this ambiguous, like, dried stuff on your shirt or clothing, you can always say, well, I don't know, that's probably glue. That's probably what it is.
You say, oh, fuck! That bukkake party last night was awesome.
Okay, alright. Banana.
Don't succumb to posturing.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, wait.
The UN.
Yeah, what the fuck were you doing at the UN? Most powerful person in the room. I'm the real victim, yo! That's not posturing, dear.
I'm just a teeny tiny little helpless girl who needs everybody.
Yeah, I could buy off the police force of a small country, but yeah, I really need you to save me.
You came on to the sound of twinkling, for fuck's sake.
Okay, but
Twinkling!
It's funny because it's this thing that she cannot see. She sees men posturing, and it's like, I'm so tough, I'm so manly, I'm so like powerful, right? She doesn't realize that there is female posturing too, and she does so much of it. Yeah. I'm just a little wee little thing. Even though I could probably pay off a judge to let me go if I murdered you in cold blood in front of witnesses, I'm still just a wee little thing. You know, take care of me. That's posturing, Emma. She for he. Stop posturing.
There you go. Stop exploiting men's natural instinct to protect you, Emma. Especially stop doing it while simultaneously blaming men for never caring about women enough to protect them. because that's the whole feminism narrative right there. There is no such thing as a patriarchy that considers women's needs, considers their opinions, considers what they want, considers anything about them. There's no such thing as a just patriarchy. If men are in charge, then women are oppressed, which means that there is no such thing as a man who is protective of women, who looks at women as a group of people to serve and to provide for and to keep safe and to help and support. Yeah, no. Any patriarchy is an unjust patriarchy, unjust toward women, and therefore there really is no such thing as male instinct to provide for and protect and support and help women. None whatsoever. So you're simultaneously exploiting men's natural impulse to do those things while telling them that they don't actually have an impulse to do those things. That it's the opposite.
Oh, it's a mindfuck extraordinaire.
Oh, it's gaslighting. It's like complete fucking gaslighting on
Also,
a massive culture-wide scale.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Posturing.
I've got 4 brothers. Gender inequality is affecting them just as much as me.
Really? Why don't you put those suicidal fucks to work? Hand them a shovel, maybe dangle a carrot in front of their face, whack them on the backside a few times when
Okay,
they...
I missed something though, Karen, before we get into...
You wanted me to back it up.
Yeah.
No, this was what she meant by posturing.
I've got 4 brothers. Gender inequality is affecting them just as much as me. A lot of posturing goes on with men. My brother...
Here, wait a second.
He's just...
Alright, so gender inequality affects your brothers just as much as men. I'm guessing they don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars. And yet you're still the bigger victim, I'm imagining, because you're a woman. Even though you're a millionaire and your brothers aren't, and apparently they are equally affected. What does she mean by gender inequality is equal? Like, I mean, it's true, or at least it looks like she's a little bit open to understanding that the situation for men is not very good. But it seems like she's saying that men are doing it.
Yeah. Well, because who else would be?
And you know another thing that's posturing? It's really interesting because I was sitting in a coffee shop once, and we were having some coffee. We were in Regina, hanging out in a coffee shop, and these 2 older women walked in and sat down, and one of them started talking about all of the rude people or somebody who had failed to abide by some sort of social expectation. At great length, she was talking about. Oh, she's such a rude person. She's so she just doesn't understand. She doesn't, and she's so inconsiderate. And I was thinking, this is posturing. This is moral posturing.
Yeah.
And women do it all the fucking time. You might as well. This is exactly the same as a guy with, like, I don't know, cement blocks under the axles of his frickin' truck with monster tires. It's just exactly the same, except we never call these old biddies out on it.
Well, of course not.
We never say, oh, that's posturing. And that's sort of toxic, too, because guess who she's posturing over? Guess who she's throwing her weight over? Some other poor woman who probably, she might not even be as rude and socially inconsiderate as she's being made out to be. Or maybe she's the kind of person who's on the autism spectrum. She doesn't quite get those social niceties. And yet this particular woman is lording it over her.
Yeah, well, and some women just don't fucking give a fuck. It's like that whole emotional labor argument, oh, and I'm the one who's stuck filling out. I'm sending the Christmas cards, and I have to handwrite them all, and I have to include the pictures that I had to arrange in October to get taken of the whole family, and and then I had to order them, and then I had to cut them, from the big sheet, and then I had to stuff them in the envelopes, and I had to go down to the post office and mail them, and then when we got our Christmas cards from everybody, from all the wives of all the people that we know, because men don't do this shit, then I had to send out thank you notes, and my husband doesn't care. Well, neither do I. Like, I can't even remember the last time I mailed a Christmas card. I don't even know if I ever have mailed a Christmas card. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'll phone you on Christmas Day. Maybe I'll send you an email or something. People wish me happy birthday on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook even to like to look at it. I'm like, oh, I go there months later. I'm like, oh, look at all these people who wish me happy birthday, and I wasn't there to say, oh, thanks. Like, whatever. I don't care about that shit. It's immaterial. It's like
But that makes you a bad person, Karen.
it's like too much lube.
It's too much lube. It's too much social lube for Karen.
It makes it difficult. You gotta have.
She likes it gritty.
No,
And a little dry.
I just like things to actually go where they're supposed to go instead of sliding all over the fucking place.
All right. Okay. This is a fucking huge.
I'd like to be able to feel it.
All right.
Okay. Moving on, I guess. Now that can we even?
I think we've totally shocked Mike into never speaking again.
Oh.
I'm trying to make the faff noise. I don't know how TLD does it, but.
Oh, you gotta grab your cheek and like pull it.
I'm guessing TLD's not as bearded as I am. Yeah, never mind. You get the joke though. I've done a fap joke, y'all. Move on.
I attempted to do it, but I attempted to do it. Did that work?
I was doing it, and somebody else was doing it. So if it wasn't Mike,
it was me.
There you go. So
I was attempting to make the fap noise.
Alison and I were fapping on Mike's behalf.
Okay, but maybe we should go one at a time and see which one gets closest to the actual fap noise.
Okay. You first.
Me first? Okay. I don't know.
Okay, how about this?
Oh yeah, you are much better at that. You're much better at that.
Quick. You just gotta grab your cheek and just do it quick.
Okay. Okay. But what's the technique here?
Oh, you want to see?
No, I don't want to.
No. I'll switch it. I'll switch it.
Okay, but that'll be like a fucking production.
No. I'll and then I'll turn this on. It won't be a production.
I'm not putting my freaking camera on.
Okay.
That was me.
Okay. Okay. No, get your camera on. I want to see this.
Well, my camera was on, but.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're getting closer. The fuck?
I don't know.
No, you gotta stop screen share. You gotta stop screen share.
Okay.
Yes, there you go.
Now turn it. Okay, turn it on.
All right, we're good. We're good. Yes. All right, I'm gonna put it on you so we can see. Let's see your technique.
Okay.
What you have to stop screen sharing.
Oh, I have to stop screen sharing. Okay. You go like this.
Oh my fucking god. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, no, now my cheek hurts though.
I don't think I have my cheeks are a little bit too plump.
Oh, okay. You got to really kind of be able to grab a fair amount of loose,
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a lot of loose skin.
If you sort of grab the corner of your mouth with the tip of your index finger, you can get quite a lot of anchorage.
All right. No, this isn't working. I just got two. I'm sorry. I got the chipmunk cheeks.
Oh dear. Okay.
So I'm not gonna be able to get it that fast.
Well,
all right. Let's
yeah. And now that we're done with it, now for something completely different.
Couldn't be around his guy friends the way they talk about girls.
Okay, just give me a second.
Answering goes on with men. My brother once said to me that he just couldn't be around his guy friends the way they talk about girls.
Why not? Why not? You ever been around women who are, or been within earshot of women when they're talking about guys? And their dick size and whether they're cut or not and, all kinds of stuff, just freaking women talk about stuff like that all the time. It's not something that only men do. And also, if you're not talking about sex, then you're also talking about, maybe bad-mouthing your partner to your friends, and women do that too. I mean, if you ever want to hear some stuff that'll make your hair turn white, go have coffee with a bunch of 40-year-old women who are married and listen to them talk about their husbands. Just saying.
Yeah.
So, I really don't think this is like a feminist problem.
No, pshaw, all problems are feminist problems.
I don't even know if I would call it a problem. People need to vent. You're living with somebody, you're with them. You've been with them for maybe a long time, like 10, 15, 20 years, something like that, 5 years even, right? Do you know how many times I threatened to murder my boyfriend just on a daily basis? Let alone like how many times in a year I threatened to fucking smother him and his like stick a pillow over his face and sit on it while he's sleeping or something like that, right? Like, there are things he does that annoy me. There are things that I do that annoy him. And the way we generally, I don't generally go and, bitch to other people about the things that he does that I just feel free to just like express myself when I'm annoyed around him, and he feels free to express that back to me. And it doesn't mean that we don't love each other, right? And I don't feel any need to go and find some coffee clatch of my girlfriends who are just going to listen to me badmouth him, for an hour and a half, right? No, I'll just threaten to kill him, and then he'll, I don't know, call me, I don't know, sloth or something like that. And then, oh, you're such a sloth. And then he'll, say, give me a kiss, and then that's that. It's the most, that's actually, communicating and stuff. I mean, in a very hyperbolic way, but, he never takes me seriously. I never take him seriously when, we say mean things to each other, and it works, right? And I don't feel any need to go outside the relationship and say mean things about him to other people. But a lot of women do.
Yeah.
I picked up on this immediately. As soon as I was in Calgary, I knew that this was how Karen talked. I will destroy you, woman, is how you say. I'll do it in a minute, all right?
Yeah. Well, it's like, he'll be like, Karen, I'm like, oh, fuck off, right? Yeah, whatever. It's like whoever, I think it was Brian who said I do friendly angry very, very well. It's just funny. So, but yeah.
Yeah, this is like, yeah, it's Emma Watson that we need to be talking about.
Okay, Emma Watson's brother apparently can't stand the way his friends talk about girls.
Are you sure Emma Watson has never talked about boys in a very nasty way, even in front of her brother?
Or even just in a degrading or objectifying way,
Well, you know what? That'd probably make her a little more human if she had a physical desire for the opposite sex.
Like I really like it's not even like I have a problem with, like I said, with the way men talk about girls when men are together in the locker room, and the way women talk about guys when they're together over coffee. That's sort of all sort of normal behavior. It's venting. You're frustrated or whatever, you're a little bit unsatisfied, you go and you vent, right? It's just if that's all you do and all you do is get positive feedback from your friends, that can be a problem, rather than a perspective of, is this really something you should be complaining about?
Banana.
Lambert Heaven! Sign up in support of the hashtag He for She campaign.
That's how to be a male feminist.
Okay, let her get to it.
One way you can pledge your support for Emma Watson's campaign is to
Well, at least she said one way and not the only way.
sign up for the He for She petition at heforshe.org. Fucking hell.
Did she actually say fucking hell? I doubt it.
No, that was me. My arm was very tired, and so was my brain. That's tip number 7. It usually is the last tip. Sign up to our thing. That's how you be feminism. Oh,
So is that it?
Fucking shameless.
Is that it?
Apparently.
Is it?
What do you mean? Well, it's not necessarily shameless. I mean, I shill.
Yeah, but you're not saying that it's the, like that. Well, okay, you're not saying here's 7 ways you can, well, be a men's rights activist, and one of them is to give me money or whatever, or take a pledge through my organization. I don't know, like it's one way you can help us keep going, us as Honey Badger Radio, keep going and keep doing what we do, is to help us out in that way, but anybody can be an MRA and find some other thing that they like. You don't have to like us.
Yeah. But it's
yeah.
nice if you do. It's nice if you like us.
Sure.
Or even don't like us, but are interested in continuing to listen to us because you don't like us. That works too.
Like even just like if you look at the sort of the different, like there's a whole host of people who've been active in sort of political activism, lobbying, things like that. I mean, like Harry Crouch of NCFM, I would be willing to guess that a lot of MRAs wouldn't know what he looks like. Right? They would not know what he looks like. He's sitting on a domestic violence council, like a local domestic violence council in, I think, San Diego. He's sat on that for years. So he's there on the sort of the board of directors of the city's domestic violence services. He does a lot of work on the ground, recruitment, giving his business card to people. And he does a lot of sort of legal work where he's getting the lawyers to write letters to various companies and stuff like that. I mean, there's people like Diana Thompson, right? A lot of people wouldn't recognize her. She spoke on the initial panel, the very first panel at the opening of ICMI 14, because like she's in the big government buildings talking to congressmen and senators and stuff like that. She's not necessarily an e-celeb, right? Like there are people out there who are doing all kinds of stuff. You can there's like a multitude of groups that you can support with your dollars too, right? You don't have to support us if you don't like our shtick.
Yeah. However, I can make a good argument for it, but I'm going to let Mike have another word in there. Insert his word somewhere.
I couldn't find my word. Well,
For
one
inserting?
thing I mentioned is if you donate to us, then you can help us like survive off this. I don't think it's quite the same with Emma Watson's thing. I get the feeling most of the people involved in this here, either charity or non-profit, are all doing quite well already.
Yeah.
I don't quite know where their money is going. I mean,
it's probably to build schools for girls while ignoring little boys and stuff.
Well, that'll make a healthy patriarchy.
Yeah, no, it's to build schools for the 31 million girls, but
or is it to do more campaigns to raise awareness? Yeah, more campaigns to raise awareness about the wage gap and what have you.
It's awareness campaigns to let you know that 58 million kids of primary school age globally are not in school. They don't have access to education, and half of them are girls. There you go. Which, like any normal person would be like, just like, yeah, okay, no duh.
All right. Here's why I think you should donate to Honey Badger Radio. And if you're listening to what we're saying, you obviously buy into the message that we have, unless you hate us, which is okay too. We're fine with that. But if you're listening and you like us, you obviously buy into. You have a certain amount of buy-in to the message that we're giving. And of course, that message is, if you're a man, that you're not worthless if you fail to provide and protect for someone else, or if you need help in your life. That's the message for men. And for women, it's that you're not useless. So if you're listening, I can tell you something. And I've talked to a lot of people who say that they're almost at the point of giving, and they have financial issues and financial difficulties. But here's why you should give. and why you should give even if it's a situation where it's difficult. Because when you give, when you contribute, when you support this message financially, you're not just buying into it, you are committing to it. You are committing to that message in your life, that message that you are worth something. Even when you have issues, even when you have problems as a man, you are still worth something as a human being. Now, don't do that for us. Do that for yourself. Now, if there was some other method of commitment that was equally as emotionally resonant as money, then do that. But in this society, that's how we really make a commitment to something. And if you're still hesitating, I want you to ask yourself, is the reason why you're hesitating to commit to this message because you're just not ready to help us out? Or because all your life you've been told you're worthless and you're just not ready to commit to a message that you are not? So, www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. Thank you for listening.